Just saying, January can be a bit of a rough month for everyone. Christmas is over and, payday seems a million miles away, and it's often a sense of pressure to make big life changes for some people. Now, it's a time of year that can take its toll on our mental health, so it's important to know how to reach out, if you're really struggling. And supposedly today is called Blue Monday, absolutely nothing to do with the Everton situation, but the most depressing day of the year, whether you believe it or not. Well, this week we're going to be speaking to 3 mental health charities about how to get through this time of year and, who to talk to when you need someone to listen to. And all too often, men in particular, I think, find it hard to open up. Well, Wirral-based charity Journey Men are on a mission to change that, and Phil Roberts is one of the founders of the organisation. I'm thrilled to say joined us this morning. A very good morning to you, Phil. Are you there, Phil?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Phil. Now,
yeah.
Just tell us about the great work that Journey Men does.
Journey Men are here for, we started off on the Wirral, but we've sort of branched out into Liverpool and Cheshire and all that now. Men were given a bit of a rough deal to begin with, and in my previous job, I noticed that men were really struggling with the mental health. On the Wirral, we've got a wonderful place called Tomorrow's Women, but there was no Tomorrow's Men. So literally, I did a bit of work, and literally, quickly, Journeyman was here. And literally, what I wanted the men to do is to come to a place where they could actually engage with other men and the staff. But unfortunately, my luck, I opened Journeyman right at the beginning of COVID as well. So, but if there was ever a time to actually open a men's mental health place up, it was there and then, Sean. And since then, we've had coming up to over 500 men through our door. And we've had men who were just lonely, but we've had men who have attempted to take their own lives and all that. So we support every one of them, but we just don't stop with the men. We also carry it on to the families as well. The mental health just doesn't stop with that man. It goes right through the family, to the wives, to the kids, to the boyfriends, to the girlfriends, and we deal with them holistically. As this is a way that if I was struggling with my mental health, this is the way I would like to be treated.
I know. Well, why do you think us blokes in particular struggle when it comes to opening up, Phil?
I just think it's been built into us over the years. How many times have you been told to man up?
Yeah.
And all this type of thing. And, fellas, yeah, we're roughy-tufty and we do keep things to ourselves. And, and some organisations as well, you can't say that you are struggling because some organisations might use that against you, or we're in a position now where people are losing their jobs, and you don't want to put yourself or put your hand up and say, "Look, I'm struggling." But organisations now have got the heads together, and if the staff or any of the men or any of the employees are struggling, there is help out there now, and that's what we want to do. Is if you are struggling, talk about it. It's the best thing because if you don't, you're going to struggle, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
And as you say, this will have been a really difficult couple of years for so many people. I know you were saying you've had so many people getting in touch with you. Isolation is a big thing for mental health. Job loss. We talked about. This is a massive increase for you. You didn't really have much to compare it to, but obviously with the way things were, you must have known you were going to be really busy, Phil.
Well, that's it. We opened on the 7th of April 2020, so we're coming up, so we're not even 2 years old. And for when I opened, we went on Radio Merseyside, and that's where on the back of that, the phone started to ring, and since then, it's never stopped. A lot of services during lockdown were hard to access. Some just basically closed the door, and we were picking them up. And people were really, really struggling. At the beginning of COVID, it was really scary. It was a new thing that nobody have heard of. The whole country had closed down overnight, and it was scary for the men, for the community, but also it was quite scary for me because we were having to change our procedures. I sat down with the directors and we did this business plan for the next 3 years. Overnight, that was thrown out, and then we had to think on our feet, and video calls. I've never heard of Zoom and all that, and quickly we had to buy into all that, so we had to buy computers and things like that. But we adapted, we changed, and one thing that COVID has done is really, my business plan now is where we are with Journeymen now is where I envisage to be in year 4. So if anything, we've done a lot of work, and our policies and procedures have all changed, but all for the good and of the men and the community.
Mm-hmm. So you've really adapted yourself really to a unique situation for a lot of us. So what sort of support do you offer, Phil? Is it more than just counselling?
Oh, it is. For me, I like the holistic approach. It's non-clinical here, so we've got an office in Birkenhead, but one thing I wanted to do is, because we were all stuck indoors and the government were telling us not to come out and not to do this and all that, what we were doing is the likes of, right at the beginning, we were doing counselling. But because we couldn't actually do it in an office environment, we were doing walking counselling. We were saying to the men, meet us at an agreed point. You can bring your dog with you if you want as well, because having animals and all that, that's a great therapy. And we were doing things outdoors. So we did walking counselling because people couldn't access the counselling services. But then we did things like a walk and talk. And we got a group of men together, and we walked around the likes of Hamilton Square to begin with, and then Birkenhead Park, because on the Wirral we've got some lovely places to walk around, also right by the river as well, looking across that gorgeous view to Liverpool. And we did all that, and the numbers just kept increasing, so much so what we had to do as well on the walk and talk is have a second walk and talk.
Yeah.
So we extended that because of the amount of people who were turning up. Once again, we had to work around the government guidelines and things like that, but it worked. So now what we do is, like this week alone, we've got a chit and chat today at the Prenton Rugby Club, and that's where our men turn up from half 1 to half 3, and you can just sit there over a brew and just talk. We've got one of our ambassadors is Pauline Daniels, the comedian. I love Pauline. And she's there. And you know what? She sings for them. We've just signed up a deal with Lipper over in Liverpool. And what we're doing with our men as part of the chit and chat over 10 weeks, and it's starting in a couple of weeks, Lipper are going to sort out a production with our men. So our men are going to be talking about mental health, sexuality, suicide, whatever they want to talk about. And they're going to do this with Lipper and then do a production in 10 weeks' time.
Yeah.
And we're going to have that at hopefully at one of the local theatres. And that's going to be either as part of song or dance or poetry, whatever the men want to come up with. Pauline and Conrad from Lipper, they're going to be producing this for us as well. So it's just thinking outside. It sounds amazing. I'll let you know when it is as well. And
please do. But the good thing is as well, Phil, I mean, these people are coming together, and sometimes you think it's only you in situations like this, but to talk to like-minded people and realise that, you've been really busy, there's a lot of people going through the same thing. I mean, that's reassuring, isn't it?
It is, and when you get men together, the old adage is men don't talk. As soon as they get your trust, they do open up, and a lot comes out as well. But it's not just led by the staff. I've got an in-house counsellor called Peter, who has done over 600 sessions of counselling since we've been open, and he does a wonderful job. But the one-to-one peer support and that lived experience from the men, it's so powerful for men to talk about their own mental health to another man. who and they support each other. As I say, it's so powerful. And the stuff that we're doing, like tomorrow, we're doing walking football at Tranmere Rovers. We're doing gardening. We're doing fishing at the weekend as well. Fishing is a big thing as well. Getting these men either kicking a ball around or holding onto a fishing rod, they're talking. They've got the help and support. And it's so powerful, and I like things in my head. It's got to be simple. This is, to me, it's so simple, but it's so effective, and it's so powerful.
Absolutely, Phil. I'm gonna leave it there, if I may, because we're going to be chatting to Steve O'Gorman, one of the guys who've been helped by Journeymen. But just give us some details of how we can get in touch if maybe we need to contact you.
Definitely. If you go on the website, that shows everything what we do within the community and all the contacts as well. But if you do need to phone us, we're on 0151 792 9159, and it's Journeymen, and we're based on the Wirral, and we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The social media is quite strong, and we're here. Give us a ring. Start your journey with us. And it'll be one of the best things that you can do.
Fabulous. Phil, thank you so much for your time today, and good luck with what you're doing, mate.
Brilliant. Thanks, Sean. I'll pass you over to Steve in a minute.
OK, I'm going to I'll play a bit of Justin Bieber, then we're chatting to Steve O'Gorman, a lad who's been over there and a full beneficiary of the fabulous facility that it is. And this week we're speaking about mental health, as I've been saying on the programme, and who to turn to if you want that little bit of help. Well, today they call it Blue Monday, supposedly the most depressing day of the year. So if January has been difficult for you so far, and you're a man, then Journeymen in Wirral, they want to hear from you. And one of the men who've been helped by Journeymen is a chap called Steve O'Gorman, who joins us this morning. Steve, how are you?
Oh, good morning, Sean. How are you?
I'm really good, mate. Thanks for coming on. And so tell us about you and how you first got involved with Journeymen, Steve.
Well, I'm diagnosed with complex PTSD through multiple kind of problems in my life.
Yeah.
So once I got on board, I came through the hospital system.
I see.
I was actually referred to via the Wirral Mental Health Service. So once meeting up here, they've actually changed my life for the better.
I mean, it can be really difficult to ask for help. I mean, for some reason, particularly fellas, is that how you felt?
When I first came here, I felt that I was lost. I was in the process of a massive breakup. A lot of things were going on in my life at that time.
Yeah.
And just to sit down with someone and say, listen, Steve, this is going to be okay. And sort of focused and pointed in a direction I wanted to go with. I mean, each one of these men that we go for a walk and talk with each week have a story. And the bond between these men grow and grow and grow. And it's something you can't take away, a handshake, a hug. It's just something that happens every week. And it makes you feel a lot better. It makes you come out yourself, so you're talking more, which actually stops the build-up of stress.
I know. So did you feel that almost straight away, Steve? Can you remember what your first interaction was like with Journeymen?
I was very shy and apprehensive, I've got to be honest. I'd never gone through this kind of thing before. But, yeah, they lifted my spirits. They pointed me in a direction just by talking. I mean, a woman, a man talking to you saying, Steve, how are you today?
Yeah.
Which means so much to people, especially with the lockdown and everything that was going on at the time.
Sure. I mean, did you get involved with the activities as well that Journeymen provide?
Yes, I do. I do the walk and talk and the fishing. The walk and talk is where we gather and obviously walk around, have a good chat. And as I said, it's like a little family now where you go around and we talk. Every week someone's got something to say. And we sort of like self-counsel ourselves.
It's amazing, isn't it? You know, something as simple as you say there, Steve, you know, chatting to other people, going fishing, really simple things that have really, really, put you back on your feet, really, haven't they?
Yes, they certainly have. Every time, as I said, the fishing's on this week. Looking forward to that. Walk and talk. Had a great time there. As I said, the camaraderie between all men is brilliant.
So how are you feeling now, Steve?
I'm feeling a lot better than I have done. I've been with these gentlemen now for the past 7-8 months. I'm feeling a lot better now than I ever was.
Wow. So what are you hoping for yourself in 2022, Steve?
In all fairness, I'm looking for, hopefully, better health, especially mental health, moving forward, and seeing if I can give something back to these men that what they've given to me.
Yeah, it's a good point, Steve, because a lot of people will learn from your experiences and, what you talk about to them and how you came along and you said you were a bit shy at the start. A lot of people will feel that, I'm sure, because it is daunting walking into a room with people you don't know and sitting down and chatting for the first time. A lot of people think, well, it's not easy, and it's not, is it?
No, it's not easy at all. I mean, you don't know what to say first, but your spirit's lifted straight away. You come in there, you see a man with a big smile on his face.
Yeah. And
offers you a cup of tea. And it's like, okay, never met you before, but you feel like you've been friends with them for years.
So, I mean, men listening today might find part of your story very relatable. What would you say to anyone, Steve, who might be listening and feeling unsure about reaching out? What advice would you give them?
I'd say immediately reach out as much as you can. There's help there. You've just got to pick up the phone.
Well, listen, Steve, I wish you well, and I hope them fish are biting for you this week.
So do I. Thank you very much, Sean.
Great to talk. Cheers. Thank you. Do you know, it's a simple thing, isn't it? Just to speak to people and open up and go for a walk. And you were talking about fishing and walking football and things like that. It's the simplest things, isn't it?
I've been on a barge with those guys.
Yeah?
I've been on a barge, and endless cups of tea, endless chat, good fun. Good fun. And no preconceptions of what you should be talking about. Just, just putting along on this little barge, having a bit of fun, having a chat.
And listening to Steve, I think he's made great friends there now, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, friends for life.
Absolutely. So, journeymen, contact them. They're on all the social media. If you need help in any way, they're there for you. Take full advantage of them. That's what they want.